Hi, and welcome to the Bruce Channel. I'm Bruce, and we've got some of this, we got some of that, we got some of these, we got some of those. So today we'll start, how about the beginning, I think. And that's this, a quick programming note. It's been airing on several different stations all around the country for a number of weeks now, both on Saturdays and Sundays. But today, that is Sunday, it is airing in Memphis and Norfolk and Baltimore, Dallas, Savannah, Georgia, Chicago, Pittsburgh, and Detroit. What is it? It is the film The Tuskegee Airmen. It's a documentary made by the filmmakers Brian Williams and Denton Atkinson, who I'm glad to say are friends of mine. And if it's already been shown where you are and you missed it, it is available on DVD and all the usual places. So check it out. In their own words, the Tuskegee Airmen. All right, a couple quick stops and observations for sports. We're not going to go back all over the Super Bowl, but there were no football games last week, and no football games this week, and no football games next week. And there was a time in my life when, in the immediate aftermath of the Super Bowl, I would really feel sad. Saturdays and Sundays without football. What to do? Oh me, oh my. Oh me, oh my. Well, anyway, literally, it was very nearly a time of depression for me. And I only bring that up now so that I can say to you with more than a little satisfaction, I must have finally grown up. Really, the season has ended, and it was a terrific Super Bowl. But so what? What if it hadn't been? Big deal. It's just a game. So, yippers! I'm a grown-up. I can wear big boy pants, and I can do joined-up writing and everything. I do feel a little anticipation for the upcoming golf season. Jordan Spieth, the young phenom who 2 years ago excited the golf world when he won the Masters and the U.S. Open, the first two of the four major tournaments. He won last week at Pebble Beach, and he won rather easily. And the anticipation, the Masters is now less than 2 months away, a month and a half actually, meaning that even in the northern states, the days are getting longer. The winter blahs, they're retreating. Their days are numbered. I don't know what the number is, but they are dwindling. Oh, I got to tell you this. Last week I told you that here we had a couple of really cold mornings, but that the weekend was seeing a return to the 70s. All right, I want to put that in context. A week ago, Sunday, the official average for that date was 51 degrees. The record for that date was 73 degrees. All right, we broke the record, but that's misleading. We didn't break it, we shattered it. We got up to 81, which is, I guess it's nice to wear shorts in February. But now the daffodils are fully up, and I see some flowers on some of the fruit trees. And we run the risk of the fruit trees blooming too soon and then returning, if we get a conventional overnight low and the mid-20s or colder, that could pose a threat to some of the harvest, and that means our food prices would get higher. That's not good. Right, I have from time to time shown you these This Day in History snippets in the newspaper. So I saved a couple of these up. First, I'm doubling back sort of to sports. There is this. Major League Baseball, this is from 1931. Major League Baseball, is exemplified by Hack Wilson and Babe Ruth, the home run twins, was curtailed in the National League today with the announcement that the 1931 ball to be used in the senior circuit will have a thicker cover and heavier stitch. All right, so, the ball is designed as an answer to the cry for fewer extra base hits, and I'm not going to read the whole thing, but the point is, when I read it, two things leaped out at me. One, this is from a bygone era. It's a sports story, and they were still writing in very, very formal speech. And then the 1931 ball, that was supposed to be the answer to the Babe Ruths. You see, back in the day, baseball purists didn't like the home runs. They thought that baseball should be played with wits, with singles and stolen bases and strategy. And the purists of the day were outraged when guys like Ruth could just, make baseball a game of power hitting. Of course, the general public is not comprised of purists. Babe Ruth became the highest paid baseball player in history at his day because his power is what drew the fans. Same things today. The guys who hit the home runs are they get the big paychecks, and so do the pitchers who are good enough to stop them from doing that. From 1929, February 14th, 1929, Chicago gangsters posing as policemen invaded the north side stronghold of George Bugs Moran, lining up 7 helpless unarmed victims with their faces to a brick wall and mowed them down with automatic pistols and machine guns. Of course, what it's describing is the St. Valentine's Day Massacre, which, unlike the Bowling Green Massacre, really did happen. 38 years later, it was turned into a movie starring Jason Robards as Al Capone and George Segal as Bugs Moran. All right. And there's this last one. And I want to do for you what was done to me, and that is recommend something really good. Now, the catch is it streams on Netflix, but if you have streaming Netflix, I strongly recommend you watch The Crown, which chronicles Queen Elizabeth II's reign. Now, the article doesn't say this, but her father, George VI, died on February 6th. So from February 8th, 1952, the young Queen Elizabeth II comes to the throne nearly 400 years after her famous namesake did. The first Elizabeth was 25 years old when she became queen, and so is the second. It may be a good omen for England and the free world when the young queen speaks, and the charm of her voice is added to the words which Churchill may well polish for her use. People not only in her island kingdom, but also at the ends of the earth will listen, and many will find their hearts moved more than with a trumpet. I'm not sure what that means. My heart is moved more than with a trumpet. Like, trumpets don't move me that much. All right, and I didn't know this until reading this. Americans will note that Elizabeth is descended on her mother's side from the same forebears who produced Washington and Lee. And now you know the rest of the story. All right, a very, very brief word on politics. I have held off, but following the events from last weekend through the early part of the week, I thought I needed to make a comment, but then things again grew too fluid in the middle of the week, so again I paused. Except, this is, we're not a month yet into this administration, and it seems every day there's something new. They keep shooting themselves in the foot almost every day. Now, I'm not making opinion here. Odds makers are the most impartial of arbiters, and they simply don't care. They simply lay odds. Ladbrokes is a very big British odds maker, and they are giving odds, nearly even odds, 11 to 10, that Trump is out by resignation or the 25th Amendment, or he's impeached and convicted, and that's within his term. Almost even odds, 11 to 10. Now, if he dies in office, all bets are off. But they are giving slightly wider odds, 4 to 1, get this, 4 to 1, that he will be impeached this year. And as I say, that's not opinion. They are just looking purely at the financials. Now, I said before the inauguration, I didn't expect him to finish his term. I could be wrong, of course. But nothing I've seen has caused me to change my mind.
You know, it's sort of our job to let you know when things are said that aren't true, especially by people you've elected. And this president keeps telling untrue things, and he does it every single time he's in front of the microphone. It's demonstrable. I can re-rack the tape for you. There were a lot of them today. Some of them aren't really big, but they're coming from the President of the United States. Today he said, I had the biggest electoral win since Ronald Reagan. He didn't. He said this repeatedly, over and over and over again, and every time he says it, it's not true again. Is it a big thing? No. But he's the one who brings him up. Nobody asked about his electoral college win. And here's another thing. One of the biggest questions that the people who ask him questions have right now is, what is this relationship with Russia? When Russia was hacking into the election, hacking into the Democrats, the DNC, your guys were on the phone with the Russians. Did you talk about that? We don't get a straight answer on this question, which leads us to continue to ask the question.
You know, if you are a Republican and Fox is criticizing you, well, nearer term, a prediction, you know, suddenly Kellyanne Conway has gone MIA, and I think she will be the next one out the door. So, as they do each year, Merriam-Webster has updated the dictionary. They've added some words. I have an unabridged dictionary, but it's not abridged, but it's no longer up to date. It's no longer complete. Anyway, what struck me was so many of the words, the new words, are more than one word. It's not surprising that there are new words for things, you know, that long ago didn't exist. Smartphone, for example, that's not one of the ones this year, but you know, smartphone, not that many years ago. What? So, and of course that changed too. It used to be your cellular phone, then it evolved to your cell phone, then your cell, now it's your mobile. So, anyway, some of the ones for 2017, new words. Well, this one isn't new at all. I've used it for 20 years. You may have too. Train wreck. But now it's considered an entry, and it's still spelled as two words, which I find peculiar. Anyway, binge watch also is officially in, and officially it is hyphenated. Okay, and this has been around for more than a few years. Photobomb, it's now an official word, and it's neither hyphenated nor spelled with two words, it's just one. Here's one I'd never heard of. Humble brag. Humble brag, that's one word, non-hyphenated, and that's when you speak of yourself modestly, but your intent is to, you know, let somebody know you did accomplish something. Like, yeah, I made a little money, but it's not like I'm Bill Gates or anything. I mean, my house is small compared to theirs. It's not even 10,000 square feet. Oh, speaking of Bill Gates, abandonware. Abandonware, which is software that is no longer sold nor supported, which really isn't fair to single out Bill Gates. Windows XP is no longer supported. But ultimately, that is the fate of all software. All right, last one I'm going to mention. I've got to admit, I'm not sure how to pronounce it. Phonetically, it would be NISFWA. NISFWA. More likely, though, it's NSFW, which sounds like a really strange word, doesn't it? Not safe for work, or not suitable for work, which is a label that you might include with some emails, which I guess depend on where you work. If I mail you some examples from the Sports Illustrated swimsuit issue, that's not likely to raise any eyebrows if you're the equipment manager for a Major League Baseball team. Praise God. Spring training started this week, but anyway, it might not be suitable if you're the cashier at a family restaurant. NISFWA.
Hey, let me tell you about my book, Shrink. For most of my adult life, I weighed a little over 100 pounds. Not much more than in this picture taken when I was about 17 and considering becoming a jockey. But as is often true, once I crossed into my 40s, extra weight came and it stayed. For years, I tried to lose, instead gained, and ended up 153 pounds. And I'm embarrassed to show you this video. Then I learned that it isn't about calories and exercise, but instead it's about what you eat. You might say, sure, ice cream makes you fat. But there were surprises, things like orange juice not being such a wise choice if you're trying to lose weight. So I just made some basic changes to what I ate, not how much, and the weight just fell off. Now, nearly 3 years later, it is still off. And don't misunderstand, I'm eating foods I like, not bamboo shoots. Friends ask me how I did it so often, I put it in a book. It's available as an ebook for all platforms, and the print edition is available at barnesandnoble.com and amazon.com. Hey, you can shrink too.
All right, so welcome back. Remember, you can write us at the Bruce Channel at yahoo.com, and you can see all of our previous shows at our Facebook page or at tinyurl.com/Bruce Channel. All right, so a real quickie. So this is true. I'm not making this up. There's this story. Comes out of Florida. Authorities have arrested. They allege that John Michael Haskew of Lakeland figured out how to hack some money. He hacked into the system, and he had wire transfers going to his account. It only took a day or so. I said some money. 7 billion with a B, as in boy, $7 billion. But this is why it's newsworthy. His excuse is Jesus told him to do it. Jesus wanted him to be rich. Now, the story that I read also had this line. Jesus was not available for comment. All right, a couple of quick videos. A friend of mine drew my attention to this, and I'm going to show you some of it. It's spectacular. To see the whole thing, find the Facebook page of Adorable Picture. And there you can find this video of the most amazing sculptures in the world. And to be sure, there are lots of other remarkable films and, not surprisingly I suppose, other adorable still pictures. Now, speaking of films, yeah, I've been in a couple of feature films, but you know, it's not like I won an Oscar or anything. Seriously, I've been in 2 feature films. I should say 2 and counting. The thing is, I still cannot tell you how to watch either of them right now. Now, to be sure, they were very different. Their budgets were different. So were the casts. One had James Franco and Robert Duvall and Ed Harris and Vincent D'Onofrio and Selena Gomez. And the other one had people whom you've never heard of, unless you count me. That hardly counts. But that's why on the former I'm nobody, and on the latter I'm the film's narrator. But it remains true, I can't tell you how to watch them today. But some new information. First of all, if you were to Google a film, you'll find that there are many, many sites that come up when you Google a film's title. And they have, the sites are things like StreamLive or Movie Club Streaming, and I made those up, but they are representative. And they all seem to me, they may even belong to the same domain owner. They all do pretty much the same thing. They show you a title and a frame to the movie, and a play button. And when you hit the play button, it goes to this. You must register. It says it's free to register. But actually, it's like a 5-day free trial. You do have to give up a credit card number. I thought I'd give it a shot. But after signing up with my credit card, the movie I wanted to watch, which was specifically listed, turns out it wasn't there to be seen. So a little more research, and I found that more than a few people complained about these things, that even though they'd canceled before the trial was up, they were charged. Well, I'm covered. I did screen prints of the guarantee. I spoke to a live person. And the point is, I can't tell you that they're all illegitimate. Maybe some are okay, but I can't recommend wholeheartedly that you try it. But there is this. Regarding the Obamaland movie, if you went to Vimeo.com and then you did a search for Obamaland, and the full title is Obamaland Part 1, The Rise of the Trumppublicans. Anyway, you'll see 2 films, and one of them is about 6.5 minutes, and the other one is a slideshow of about 3 minutes. The longer one, the one that is the moving film, is not the trailer. Instead, it's just a collection of different shots put up by our director of photography, whose name is David Kimmelman, and just, pretty much show his stuff. Now, the slideshow is just stills, I think, of some behind-the-scenes footage. And I am in that. But as far as when and where you can see Obamaland, I don't yet know. On the other hand, in dubious battle, while it also appears on any of those streaming sites, and I was unsuccessful at finding anything more than the trailer, I have learned. Came out around Labor Day last year, and it went to a couple of festivals, but I have learned that it comes out on Netflix as a DVD release next month. Like 6 months or so I guess that's called direct-to-disc, or almost that. And that may be in store for Obamaland. I'll keep you posted. One more quick word about films. I'm asking a favor, I guess. I told you a couple of weeks ago that I gained representation, and that required gaining some uniquity in the film industry. So professionally, I have gained an initial. Yeah, I am now Bruce D. Michaels. Bruce D. Michaels. As always, if you go to the IMDb page and give it a like, I would appreciate it. All right, finally this. Washington's birthday isn't until Wednesday. Lincoln's was a week ago, but tomorrow is President's Day. So no mail, no bank, no school. But in addition to tomorrow being President's Day, this is true, it is also National Cherry Pie Day. Now, I have no idea whether these two facts are relevant to each other, but like the story, it's a little bit apocryphal, but I am nevertheless reminded of a story. See, there was this Italian family. They immigrated to this country. This is more than a few years ago. And one day, the old man came storming into the house, and he found his young son, sat him down, and he asked him, "Who will push the outhouse down to the creek?" Yeah, I know, my Italian accent sucks. The boy said, "Outhouse in a creek? I don't know, Pop." The old man's eyes opened wider, and he said more loudly, "I'm going to ask her one more time. Who will push the outhouse into the creek?" The son again denied knowledge. The father said, "Sonny, we come of this country. This country, first president was a George Washington, and when he was a little bambino, he chopped down his pop's favorite cherry tree. And his pop asked, 'Hey, who chopped down my favorite cherry tree?' And little George, he says, 'Pop, I know can't tell a lie. I chopped it down your favorite cherry tree.' And because he told her the truth, his papa would give him a reward. He'd give him a candy. And he grows up and becomes the first president of America. So, well, the son now looks down and he looks up at his dad and he says, 'Pop, now I know cannot tell a lie. I pushed the outhouse into the creek.' And the old man laid into him. He grabbed him, he laid him face down on the bed, he took off his belt, beat him up pretty good. I don't mean child abuse, but, good whipping. So the kid's not crying. Through the tears, he asked, 'Pop, George Washington, he told the truth, he gets a reward. I tell him the truth and I get a whack. How's it come?' The old man, putting his belt back on, says, 'Because George Washington's pop was a sitting in the cherry tree when it was a chopped down.